between the Green Bay Phoenix and the Northern Kentucky Norse. And let's take a look at the standings now in the Horizon League. And it's all bunched up in the middle. But right now, Northern Kentucky with a little bit of an advantage. 6-3 right now. Green Bay at 5-4. With a win, can leapfrog some teams. But NKU looking to get some distance from that middle of the pack. And alongside Rob Kennedy, I'm Jordan Burnfield. Thanks so much for joining us tonight here at the Kress Event Center. And Northern Kentucky coming off a real difficult loss last week against Wright State. But tonight, they're going to get a big-time boost. This guy was probably the best player in the Horizon League in the non-conference. Dantez Walton, who is averaging 18 a game, is back after missing 10 games with a chest injury.
And I tell you what, Northern Kentucky did a great job without him. They won 5 of their last 6. But boy, are they going to be glad that he's back. He just said if there was a mid-season Horizon League Player of the Year, it would have been Dantez Walton, hands down, no question about it. He was the 3 consecutive Horizon League Player of the Week. Not just because of his scoring, but his rebounding and presence. It helps everybody on this Northern Kentucky team.
Dantez Walton was out 10 games, but averaged 18 and 7, shot 54%, made a huge jump from last year. So with Dantez Walton back in the lineup for NKU, who does it help the most on the North?
Well, I think it really helps their perimeter guys. And when you talk about Northern Kentucky's perimeter, it starts with Tyler Sharp, the sharpshooter, doing a terrific job, averaging just under 17 points per game. He's got a gunslinger's mentality, but now when guys have to worry about Walton, they can't hang all over Sharp and try to take him away out on the perimeter.
Added to this matchup tonight is it's going to be a revenge game for Northern Kentucky, and that's because the last time these two teams played, it was all Phoenix at the BB&T Arena in Highland Heights, Kentucky. Green Bay started on a 10-0 run. They led by double digits at halftime, never looked back in a 73-59 victory. Now that game was without Walton on the floor for NKU, but you know, especially after last week, the Norse are going to come out very fired up.
Absolutely, and Green Bay did a great job in that game of guarding Sharp and guarding the three-point line. 5 of 26 were the Norse from deep. They've got to shoot it better here tonight.
And it'll be Northern Kentucky to start with the basketball. And there is Dantez Walton feeding inside for Trayvon Faulkner. Turns around and puts it up. Misses the shot. And it's out of bounds. It'll go Green Bay's way. Expect a good pace tonight, right, Rob? You've got a Green Bay team that's one of the fastest teams in the country in terms of pace, and one that scores the most points per game in the league.
And they've got guys that can score it. It'll be a little bit different attacking this different-looking zone defense for Northern Kentucky.
Green Bay top 20 in adjusted tempo. So this is a team that, since Link Darner has been the head coach here, is going to get up and down the floor. And off the turnover, Jalen Tate goes right to the rack.
Well, that's one of the things that Link Darner talked about. They didn't turn the ball over in their first game, just 9 turnovers. Northern Kentucky does a great job of coming up with steals out of that extended zone.
Amari Davis, the freshman, who's been outstanding so far for the Phoenix with the miss. And now a travel against Faulkner and a turnover. There's the lineup for Northern Kentucky. And you know, for Norse fans, they are thrilled to see 32 back in the lineup.
And they threw him right back in, right? Sometimes you're coming off 10 games that you miss with an injury. You come off the bench. Not so. They want to make sure that they get him in the ball game right off the bat and see what he can do.
For a guy that missed 10 games with a chest injury, what can we really expect from Dantez Walton tonight?
Well, I think Darren Horn made a great point. He said, all I told him is play hard, do the little things. Let the game come to you. Don't try to force too much, especially early.
So Walton gets the rebound off the miss, and the Norse back down the floor. Jalen Tate on the drive, reverse layup, no. Ball loose underneath, and it comes out to Jaquan McLeod. Races ahead towards the basket, fouled. The shot will not go. Foul on the floor. As you take a look at Green Bay and where they've been so far this season, 5-4 in the league, 10-12 overall, played a pretty tough non-conference schedule. As we mentioned, they'll score it. They're 8th in the country in scoring, but they've allowed almost 81 points a game, which is last in the league.
And certainly that's one of the things that they were working on this afternoon in shoot-around. They guarded the basketball well from deep in the first game. They've got to do the same if they want another win.
Cody Schwartz knocks down the three. Redshirt senior out of De Pere. In his second year playing for this Green Bay program after transferring from San Jose State.
And playing his best basketball over the last 3 games.
Here is Dantez Walton into the paint, draws the foul.
It draws the foul and draws attention, because when you throw the basketball inside to Walton, you got to worry about him. And that's the biggest difference for the Norse as opposed to when he was out.
And now Walton goes to the free throw line. That was the only area of his game where he was not outstanding in the early part of the season. Leads his team in scoring and rebounding. His 5th in assists, shot 54%. Was absolutely dominant, frankly, in the non-conference.
Oh, you're right. And it's surprising, just a 58% foul shooter, because he doesn't just put up good field goal percentage numbers from inside. He's shooting it at 42% from beyond the three-point line as well.
They go quickly down the floor, but it's stolen away and then taken right back by McLeod. And then on the floor, possession will stay with Green Bay.
Now, missed opportunity there for Northern Kentucky. Caught Green Bay off guard after the made foul shot, picked up with a little pressure. Turned it over, but gave it right back.
Dantez Walton is whistled for the foul on the scrum there. That is his first. And now it'll be inbounded by Amari Davis. Schwartz tried to go inside. His pocket picked by Faulkner. And then a foul on Jaquan McLeod.
Well, second time Northern Kentucky's been able to get into passing lanes and come up with steals. They average over 8 steals per game. And Jordan, a lot of times it's stripping guys. That's not how they come up with steals. It's out of that aggressive zone defense, getting in passing lanes.
And Jaquan McLeod has picked up his 2nd foul in the first 3 minutes of this game. McLeod has scored 30 points or more in each of the last 2 contests. He is Green Bay's leading scorer, but stays on the floor right now for Link Darner. Jalen Tate on the drive, a block by McNair. It goes in, and a foul.
Now Jalen Tate with a burst of speed. Got to guard the basketball. He gets the first step right here, blows by the first defender. See the second defender just get right out of his way. He's coming right at you.
You never want a block where you also foul and the ball goes into the hoop.
Yeah, that's 0 for 3. Tate coming off a season high 16 last time out in that blowout loss at Wright State. Talk about the 10 games that Walton missed. Tate missed 10 games as well earlier in the season.
Had a broken left hand and had surgery on the alley-oop. There's Josh McNair.
Well, this time they were ready for the pressure defense and blew right by it.
Josh McNair, the senior out of Colorado. Now Tyler Sharp on the drive with the left, no good. Rebounded by McNair.
And his guys are going to run him off the three-point line. He's got to be able to convert easy ones like that.
Jaquan McLeod too strong. And the rebound ripped out of there by Trayvon Faulkner. And now Dantez Walton for 3, no. Rebounded by Schwartz. And a foul called on Faulkner.
Green Bay likes to play at a fast pace, and if you're going to try and create some pace with your defense by extending it, they're going to beat you on the back end. Good feed. See the athleticism of McNair in the starting lineup tonight for the first time in a while, because Link Darner wanted some size to be able to guard Jalen Tate out on the perimeter.
Green Bay, a team that plays an exciting brand of basketball. They've won 5 of their last 7. They get the ball up and down the floor. They're 8th in the country in assists. They will move the ball. PJ Pipes now into the game. They go underneath to Schwartz, can't finish, and the rebound to Walton.
But again, they've been able to extend that zone. Good pass along the baseline. That's what they did in their win at Northern Kentucky.
Jalen Tate gets to the paint, spins, and finishes over Davis.
Now remember, he was a preseason first-team selection. He's been slowed coming off that hand injury. As we said, 16 last time out, looking good here to start things off.
At 16 against Wright State, a season high. And now you think about where this Northern Kentucky team is, Rob, and certainly they didn't like the result last week, which was very surprising for them, but now they're getting healthy. And it feels like with a healthy team, Northern Kentucky is certainly going to be one to watch.
Yeah, they put 5 guys out on the floor who put pressure on you defensively.
Bryson Langdon into the game, has been starting in place of Walton over the last 10. Spins in on Davis, puts it up, off target, out of bounds. And it brings us to our first timeout on the floor with the Norse up 1 here in Green Bay.
Now, Jalen Tate missed 10 games with the hand injury, but starting to roll into form. He's got size and the ability to finish when he gets to the rim.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Sheba, what cats want. Curly Lambeau outside of Lambeau Field, and that is certainly the place that you think of that you visit in Green Bay, Wisconsin. As we welcome you back inside the Crest Center, let's take a look at the Horizon League news and notes so far this season. Wright State, of course, in control. They're 18-4, 8-1 atop the league so far. Antoine Davis is the leading scorer in the conference, 23 points per game, 4.4 assists. And Detroit Mercy playing a lot better than people thought. Also, a good matchup tonight. Milwaukee taking on Wright State. And right now, the Raiders are up 11 on Pat Baldwin's team, which has been playing well, 5-4 and third place in the Horizon League.
That's a really low-scoring game. That's one of the things about Wright State is they've got good versatility. They're really good on the offensive end, but they're stout defensively as well. So they can win no matter what the style of game.
Right now, Wright State a 39-30 lead on the Panthers. We'll be watching that game. Manny Patterson is in and have that one blocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Phoenix. 10 seconds to shoot.
Yeah, not often you see Green Bay get inside single digits on the shot clock. It's happened twice already, and that's because of the zone defense.
Here is PJ Pipes. Chris to the corner. Cameron Hankerson stops and pops and knocks down the jumper.
Now, good recovery. Didn't make a clean catch, so instead of forcing the shot, put it to the floor to create for himself.
Bryson Langdon on the drive against Christ. And now has some space. Kicks out again. Trayvon Faulkner for 3. Off target, and the rebound comes out to Hunter Christ. Travion Bell into the game as well for Green Bay. A 3 from the corner. Hankerson, no. And Jalen Tate runs it down, scales the line, and then gets fouled by Christ. Saturday night, 3 top 20 teams are part of a great college basketball doubleheader on ESPN at 6 Eastern. Number 13 Kentucky takes on Bruce Pearl's 17th ranked Auburn Tigers in a Sonic blockbuster. Then at 8 Eastern, 9th ranked Duke squares off against Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. Both games are also on the ESPN app. Looked like Hunter Christ and Jalen Tate banged heads a bit there, and so Christ is coming over by our table. Take a breather for a second. Yeah. Ooh.
Ouch.
That cannot feel good. That's my analysis of the play.
Spot on.
And now Sharp fires to the corner. Langdon a 3. It's good. Bryson Langdon in off the bench and knocks down his first triple.
Oh, Sharp continues to show you that he's a lot more than just a three-point shooter. Underrated off the dribble.
Sharp third on the team in assists. Inside, Travion Bell gets one off the window.
Well, they invited him to start driving the baseline, but never took it away.
On the drive, Langdon again.
Well, they've been able to beat Green Bay off the bounce and get into those paint touches off the dribble.
And now Hankerson on the baseline. No, but Bell there to clean it up.
I'll give him an assist for that shot from 4 that went 2.
He meant to do that, right?
Absolutely not. But it worked.
Whatever works. Sharp off a screen. Long deuce, no good. Rebounded to Pipes.
And that was a bit of a force. That was a difficult shot.
Pipes on the drive, muscles it up and in off the glass.
Now, second time they just were able to beat the Norse defender along the baseline and finish at the rim.
And a timeout taken by Darren Horn. PJ Pipes in Green Bay running the floor. Phoenix right now with a 2-point lead on the Norse as we welcome you back inside the Crest Event Center. Alongside Rob Kennedy, I'm Jordan Burnfield. Green Bay's won 5 of 7. They're 5-4 in the league. And this all despite the fact that Tank Hemphill is out. He has a knee injury using a medical red shirt, and he'll be lost for the season. But Rob, he's that one guy on their interior that can help you defensively, can get defensive rebounds. And Link Darner said even though the team is playing well, they really wish they had Hemphill on the floor.
Well, yeah, you missed that rim protector. And anytime you've got a guy that can clean things up at the backside of your defense, you can be more aggressive guarding on the perimeter. And without Tank on that back line, their defense has been porous throughout the season.
Travion Bell picks up the foul. That is his first personal. Dantez Walton will go to the free throw line. Just tuning in. Yep, that's Dantez Walton back on the floor for the Norse after missing 10 games. Already a 3-time Horizon League Player of the Week this season.
Yeah, and he did that in 3 consecutive weeks. First time in over 30 years in the Horizon League that they had a 3 straight Player of the Week honoree.
3 30-point games in the non-conference as well, including one against Arkansas. They go for another alley-oop, but this time Travion Bell couldn't hold on to it. Walton, step back 3. Too strong in the rebound to Pipes. Hunter Chris got to the lane, the kick out, Pipes for 3. Can't get that to fall. Adeki and Sharp both going for the rebound, and it's out of bounds off the Norse. Miscommunication and a turnover by Northern Kentucky, but Tyler Sharp and the Norse tied up on the road. Tied at 15 as we welcome you back inside the Crest Center, and we are seeing a lot of Kobe jerseys over the last week after the horrific tragedy in which Kobe, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others died in a helicopter crash last weekend. And Kobe Bryant, obviously one of the greatest basketball players who has ever lived. The basketball world continues to mourn and reel. And you got to know Kobe Bryant a little bit.
Yeah, first time I saw him play was as a sophomore at one of our Hoop Group Jam Fest tournaments. He played in a ton of our tournaments. When he was in high school, he was a dynamic player, even at a young age, but he just kept getting better and better and better. And talk about a guy who was obviously one of the greatest players ever, but also one of the hardest workers ever. And the impact that his death and his daughter's death, and as well that horrific helicopter crash, the impact that he's had, not just in the sports world, but throughout the world, literally. Yes. You talk about an icon. He was more than a basketball icon. And that just talks about the impact that he had, not only as a player, but certainly as a dad. And his relationship as a basketball dad, I think, is something that really resonated with people after his career was over.
Absolutely. And tonight the Lakers will play at home for the first time since Kobe's death.
We saw that number 24 jersey. You'll see all 24s on the Giannis team in the NBA All-Star game. LeBron's team will all wear 2 for his daughter as well. And so the tributes will continue to pour in throughout the NBA and throughout the All-Star break.
We'll have Blazers Lakers tonight on ESPN starting at 10 o'clock Eastern time.
What did you think about the NBA going to the first team to get 24 points after they set the target score, a la the TBT tournament that you see in the summer? What did you think of that?
I mean, you can't do enough tributes, I think, when you think about the impact that he made on the sport. And like you said, the world is mourning this loss. Everywhere I've gone over the last week, the first thing people talk about is Kobe Bryant.
I was checking in my hotel the other night, and there on the check-in board was a tribute to all 9 people that perished in the helicopter crash, and a quote basically saying, hey, remember, life is short, live it to your best. But that's checking into a hotel in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Bryson Langdon has that one taken away. PJ pipes down the floor, can't get it to fall. And now a whistle.
Phoenix foul number 13.
Travion Bell picks up foul number 2. And 7 fouls now against Green Bay with 10:26 remaining here in this first half. So there's going to be plenty of free throws for a Norse team that shoots 68% on the season.
And it'll also take away some pace for Green Bay, as the game will become disjointed as they start marching to the line.
Jalen Tate to the free throw line. He has struggled at the line this year, under 60%. Claims that one, and McLeod gets the rebound. Jaquan McLeod across the floor. And now Amari Davis, who's on the score sheet. As you take a look at Coach Darren Horn of the Northern Kentucky Norse, his first season, 14-7 so far. And Harrod's obviously a team that went to the NCAA tournament a year ago, falling to national runner-up Texas Tech. But Darren Horn also changing this team to reflect more of what he'd like to do, and shooting a lot more three-pointers. Obviously with Drew McDonald, graduated a little bit of a different look. But now for Horn, he's going to have a healthy team. With Dantez Walton back, I think we're going to see that this Norse team, after Wright State, is going to be tough to beat. Underneath, Travion Bell is fouled.
Green Bay's been able to get that lob over top the back of the zone because they're doing a good job of screening in that back defender. Something that Link Darner's team was working on this afternoon at shoot-around.
Link is, other than one season, has been really consistent. In the Horizon League, they've got 10 or more league wins in 7 of the last 8 years. And Link Darner has been with the with the Phoenix for 5 of them now. And so he's done a real good job in his first season. Link Darner took his team to the NCAA tournament, came into that Horizon League championship, not expected to come out of it, but they went and won the tournament at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. And since then, Green Bay, maybe an underrated team, I think, under Link Darner, but they've been consistently good every year.
Yeah, and their style of play is obviously entertaining, but it's very effective as well. Season before he came to Green Bay, he won the Division II National Championship at Florida Southern with a 36-1 record. Impressive.
Right now, the Phoenix on a 6-0 run over the last minute and a half.
Now look at the defensive pressure on Sharp.
And it leaves Adam Alita open for 3. Can't knock it down.
Well, that's one of the things Darner talked about. We're going to hang all over Sharp. We're going to leave some other guys open, and if they don't make shots, we're in good shape.
Down the floor, Bell with a nice tip to knock that one away. And trying to get Alita, the open receiver, right there. Good defensive play from Bell.
Free safety closing down on the ball.
That's right. Faulkner in the paint, too short, rebound to Bell.
And Faulkner, after struggling last game out against Wright State, can't find the mark here early tonight either.
Yeah, he was 1 of 9 from the field, just 3 points against Wright State a week ago. Now Hankerson along deuce, no good, and the rebound to Alita. Faulkner 0 of 3 so far tonight. And a steal from Hankerson. Ahead of the pack. Throws it down.
You can't defend the dribble handoff better than that. Hankerson using his long arms to get a hand on the basketball, and then finish at the other end.
Hankerson now with 4, and Green Bay extends the lead.
If they're going to have Sharp at the defensive end with never given any help, other guys have got to be able to have driving lanes, as Faulkner did just there.
And Faulkner gets the basket to go, but comes up lame, and now limping back down the floor. I hope Trayvon Faulkner is okay.
Well, here's what Green Bay's going to do. They're just going to hug Tyler Sharp out on the perimeter all game long. And if they're going to do that, you've got to be able to have a release to it. Good job by Hankerson to finish out ahead of the field. But if they're going to hug on Tyler Sharp all game long, then other guys have got to be able to take advantage of that. That means because there's no help side defense on whatever side Sharp's on, you've got to be able to put the ball to the floor and create driving lanes.
Amari Davis curls around and knocks down a jumper. Davis now with 4 points. 6 times he's been named Horizon League Freshman of the Week, and he's tied for 6th in the league in scoring. Faulkner tries to answer with a 3. Paul Joko gets the long rebound. Tate on the move. Good pass inside. Nelson had that one hang on the rim, and now Tate the bucket and a foul.
Now Jalen Tate just making things happen. That was a terrific drive and feed. And even though Nelson wasn't able to convert at point-blank range, Tate wouldn't be denied. Jalen Tate, the redshirt junior, doing a little bit of everything like he always does, trying to keep Northern Kentucky in it.
Well, under Darren Horn, Northern Kentucky is a three-point shooting team, and certainly with Drew McDonald graduated, they're going to be on the perimeter more. But in their first meeting against Green Bay, they scored just 59 points, shot 38%, and were 5 of 26 from 3. And so far tonight, they're having the same kind of trouble.
Yeah, Green Bay again is getting out and making things really difficult for Tyler Sharp on the perimeter. Darren Horn's team was 0 for 11 in the first half last time they met. So at least, hey, it's a little bit better than the last time, right? They get down 10-0 in their first meeting at Northern Kentucky and really never were in that ballgame.
Jalen Tate completes a three-point play at the free throw line. He's got 10 points so far for the Norse. Amari Davis, short jumper, no, rebounded to Nelson. Tate on the move. Kicks out in traffic, and open Joko for 3. And the rebound to Schwartz. Not a lot of three-point shots from Paul Joko so far this year.
You can see why.
Yeah, hesitated there for sure. And now Hankerson, no. And it comes out to Nelson. Tate thought about it, now takes the 3. And the miss.
Now, that's not his game. Struggles from deep, just 3 of 22 now on the season.
Jaquan McLeod answers with a long 2 of his own. And that was the first basket for Jaquan McLeod, as he picked up 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes. And now a timeout taken by Darren Horn in the Norse.
And as you mentioned, coming off back-to-back 30-point games for Link Darner. But when he picked up that second foul, Link Darner let him stay in the game, didn't take him out. On the other side, when we saw Dantez Walton pick up the second foul, he went to the bench and hasn't been back since.
Yeah, Jaquan 61 points over the last 2 games, 30 against Youngstown, 31 against Cleveland State last week. Jaquan McLeod, scoring leader for this Green Bay team, leader in rebounds and assists as well. And right now on pace to pass Tony Bennett for the most assists in a single season at Green Bay, to be 153. Tyler Sharp, nice feed underneath, and Tate finishes.
Yeah, smart play by Tate, too, to gather and get to the other side of the rim to use the rim as a protector.
McLeod going for 3. That one's short. Then Amari Davis goes for the rebound, but out of bounds. off of Davis. Well, tonight, 3:30 a.m. Eastern and 12:30 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. It's the Australian Open Women's Championship match between 14th seeded American Sofia Kenin and former world #1 Garbiñe Muguruza. This is Kenin's first ever final, while Muguruza looks for her third Grand Slam championship, having won the 2016 French Open and the 2017 Wimbledon title.
And I know you had that in your Australian Open bracket.
Oh yeah, got my big bracket ready to go. You gonna stay up at 3:30 and watch?
I tell you what, I'll get into watching tennis every now and again.
Me too.
It's not at 3 a.m.
And now Davis underneath to McLeod. Lost a tire, and it comes out to Dantes Walton.
Hankerton just absolutely hounding Tyler Sharp.
8 to shoot for the Norse. Tate inside, nifty pass to Walton. End of the shot clock, no. And Silas Hideki comes out with it for the Norse. Press 20, how about that?
Yeah, great effort and energy.
Now Faulkner drives on Davis, yes, and the foul.
Well, that's what we were talking about. If you're going to put all that defensive attention to trying to keep the ball out of Tyler Sharp's hands, it's going to allow for driving lanes. Faulkner aggressively attacking the rim and finishing through contact.
Talked about Trayvon Faulkner needing something to fall, and he's made a couple go over the last few minutes. Now the Norse creeping back down just 3, chance to make it 2. Trayvon at the line.
Had been playing very well up until the last game at Wright State. Was in double figures in all 8 of the Horizon League games prior to that. And Darren Horn is a big fan. You asked him what he thought the upside was for Faulkner. He didn't hesitate for 1 second. He said he could not only be an all-league player, but he could be a player of the year type guy by the time he's done. Just a sophomore.
Well, with the injuries that Northern Kentucky had at the beginning of the season, as Chevalier misses a 3, one thing Darren Horn has said consistently to us the last few weeks is that Trayvon Faulkner's emergence offensively has been one of the biggest reasons why NKU is where it is in the standings. That time he got blocked by Chevalier. And now the Phoenix with a chance here. Here's Steele knocked out of bounds. Will stay with the Phoenix, 14 to shoot. Trayvon Faulkner, you mentioned, was in double figures in 8 straight prior to just 3 points against Wright State. In fact, he had a career high tying 24 against Cleveland State just 2 games ago. So we've been used to seeing Trayvon Faulkner fill it up. That time Sharp the kick.
Into the Phoenix, number 13, Travion Bell.
Bell will inbound for Green Bay. 20 back up on the clock offensively for the Phoenix. Chevalier in against Hideki. That one well short. And out of bounds off of Northern Kentucky again. We've seen that happen a couple of times here where the effort's good, but the miscommunication leads to a turnover.
If you're a coach, you know, you can't fault the effort. You got 2 guys going after the basketball, but unfortunately, you don't come up with it. 3 seconds on the shot clock because they never had possession, and Chevalier with the air ball. Well, I say that, and of course, we're going to go look at it.
Officials tonight, Courtney Green, Tim Stewart, and Dan Dorian. So they will go look it over while the coaching staffs get a chance to talk things over with their players. But Northern Kentucky starting to find things now offensively, and Green Bay won for its last 7 from the field.
Well, here's that air ball. Clearly that did not hit the rim. And then the question is whether or not anybody had possession, and I don't think they did.
No, yeah.
It's just kicking around, bouncing off hands, foreheads, you name it.
Pinball.
Soccer play off
Yeah.
There you go.
Off the noggin of Adam Alita, and then kicked out by Adeki.
Just wanted our tape operator to have a little fun with that.
3 seconds to shoot.
Well, that won't bother Green Bay.
No, yeah. Team with one of the fastest tempos in the country, no problem. Hankerson gets it into Chevalier. 1 second, a 3 try, no. And it eventually comes out to Jalen Tate. Tyler Sharp in rhythm for 3, no. Grabs his own rebound. And fires it into the crowd.
Oh, no, that's the wrong call. That ball was clearly tipped. The officials missed that.
All right, fans, now it's time for the Green Bay Series 3-point shot contest.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Twix. It's time to decide. Who's going to win the Vince Lombardi Trophy, Rob Kennedy?
Time to decide. Well, don't look to me. You saw my prediction on the college football championship, right? I took Clemson. That didn't work.
It did not.
I am rooting for the Chiefs. I want to see Andy Reid win a championship. So because of that, that's who I'm picking.
I'd like to see that, too. I think it'd be a great story. But the Niners have some great stories, too.
Yep, they do.
I think I'm picking the Chiefs also.
Yeah, and their defense and running game certainly could be effective at keeping Patrick Mahomes off the field. And that might be the only way to slow him down.
See, I agree with you. But I want to see Patrick Mahomes on the field throwing amazing touchdowns.
Absolutely. I want that fast possessions, much like you get from Green Bay.
Yeah. They'll run to the Super Bowl.
That's the Phoenix I'm talking about, not necessarily the Packers.
Yes. The Packers almost ended up in the Super Bowl.
That would have been interesting, being here.
Yes. The weekend before the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. You and I got a chance to go over to Lambeau Field earlier today, and then I went over to the Titletown area that they're building out after shoot-arounds as well.
Hunter Christ going in on Bryson Langdon. And the foul called on Langdon. That's his second.
Then you saw Tate reach in. Didn't need to do that.
But when you come to Green Bay and you see all the things around here, the Packer land that exists, all the streets named after Packer greats and all the Packer bars and restaurants and everything around, it's really cool stuff.
And how the stadium just sits basically in a residential area.
Yeah.
It's unique. Pretty cool.
Be half a block away and you could be at somebody's house. Hunter Christ knocks down 2 free throws. Phoenix back up by 4. Jalen Tate into the paint. The kick wide open is Langdon, but misses the 3. Knocked out of bounds. And it will stay with Northern Kentucky.
And as you said, wide open. They're wanting a white jersey within 10 feet of him. Great drive, draw the defense, and Tate able to get into the lane pretty much at will here in the first half.
Spins on Hankerson this time. That shot went high off the glass, but able to get it back.
See Bryson not confident shooting the ball. He's been struggling lately.
Now Faulkner the miss on the 3. 3 chances right there for Northern Kentucky, and they come up empty.
Well, sometimes it's just a matter of not making shots. The Phoenix have done a good job defending the 3, but they had 2 wide open looks that possession.
That time Bell was open for 3, but missed.
This is a guy who has not had any open looks. That's Sharp trying to force it.
Langdon along the baseline, feeds inside. Nelson can't get it to fall.
And that's something he's been doing a much better job of, catching and converting in the paint. Shoots it at 77%, but he's missed 2 at point blank range here in the first half.
Will Chevalier in the corner for three. No. Rebound to Hankerson. Second chance falls. Cameron Hankerson, the senior out of Novi, Michigan. 6 first half points. And that three will fall for Langdon.
Well, finally, he's been struggling, as we said, from beyond the three-point line. Just 3 of 23 in his last 5 games coming in.
Even with that make, Northern Kentucky is 2 for 13 from 3.
As we said, some of it's been the Green Bay defense, and some of it has just been missing open looks.
And now Langdon on the drive gets fouled. And Hunter Christ will pick up his second personal. Well, this week on an NBA Saturday primetime on ABC, presented by Under Armour, Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers meet Kemba Walker and the Celtics in an Eastern Conference battle. Coverage begins with The Jump at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC and also on the ESPN app. 76ers Celtics, that should be a lot of fun to watch as well. So Langdon knocks down the first free throw. But here's so far a good one between Green Bay and Northern Kentucky. 2-point game here inside the Crest Center.
So Walton comes back in. Been kept in check so far here in the first half. He sat with some foul trouble.
3 points, 0 for 5 from the field. Walton has played 10 minutes here in the first half. First conference action of the season. Here's Bell, turns around on Tate, no. Go right to Dantes. Posts up on Schwartz. They kick out Sharp. A 3-try. No. And Travion Bell's got it under a minute to go here in the half.
But that's good offense because you force them to collapse inside on Walton. And then Sharp finally gets at least some space to be able to get a clean look.
And here's Schwartz for 3.
A lot different. Schwartz had plenty of time to get his feet set and line that one up.
Green Bay was one of its last 9 before that shot fell. And now Schwartz gives the Phoenix a 4-point lead in a timeout with 40.1 seconds left.
Oh, Schwartz got the open look because of the nice screen against the zone defense. So many times offenses forget to screen the basketball against the zone. Too many guys are worrying about running patterns instead of just playing offense. A good screen down on the pin down. Good job by Amari Davis to make good contact. And that allows Cody Schwartz, a 40% shooter, beyond the 3-point line. Plenty of time to get his feet set and either end.
He's had a nice first half, Cody Schwartz. 8 points, 3 of 4 from the field, and he's hit a couple triples. Interestingly, in his couple seasons with the Phoenix, they have experimented putting him in the starting lineup, taking him out of the starting lineup, having him come off the bench. Tonight, back in the starting lineup. But one of the things that he has wanted to work on this year, and Link Darner praised him for it, we talked to him today, was that he has become a more consistent player. That's why they had moved him in and out of the lineup, to try to find where his sweet spot would be.
Especially over the last 3 games when he's been averaging over 14 a game.
Now Amari Davis, a foul way up top on Langdon.
And that's a freshman mistake. There's no reason to do that, especially against Langdon, who's a really good foul shooter. He's now made 40 out of his last 44 from the line. Not the guy you want to put there.
Bryson Langdon, 2 of 2 so far tonight at the line as he goes to the strike this time. For Green Bay, what do you want to see from the Phoenix in this final possession? 19.8 seconds. I know that typically they might run their offense a little faster, but I think Link Darner will work it for the last shot here.
Yeah, and again, let's see if they can get a good screen down against that zone, whether it's pinning in for a shot on the perimeter. Or remember, they had a couple opportunities on the backside with the screen against the baseline for an alley-oop late.
Back to a 2-point game.
Northern Kentucky extending the floor with their defense.
Phoenix with 10 seconds left in the half. Hankerson with 5. Takes the screen from Schwartz. 2 seconds, 1 second, and he falls down the ball, and that will end the first half of play.
That's just great on-the-ball defense by Jalen Tate, a 2-time Horizon League all-defensive player.
Well, on the season so far, both these teams around 45%. NKU has struggled tonight, but they're only trailing by 2. Kevin Connors, Sean Farnham, and Dallin Cup with a halftime next.
You're looking at the best player in college basketball.
Sabrina.
I just want to be the best.
A great atmosphere, and we're pumped to have it for you.
Can't miss television.
And we welcome you back to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where right now the hometown Phoenix have a 2-point lead on the Northern Kentucky Norse on a beautiful night. Not even snowing here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, which is a real nice treat. Take a look at the stats from the first half in this one tonight. And so far, the Phoenix shooting the ball a little bit better, but both teams struggling from the 3-point line. This is carried over now, 2 straight games for Northern Kentucky, but NKU has taken advantage with 8 points off of turnovers, 4 of them for the Phoenix. And alongside Rob Kennedy, I'm Jordan Burnfield. And Rob, we said going into this one with Dantez Walton back on the floor might give Northern Kentucky a boost. Well, so far, Walton is 0 for 5 from the field, but you could understand that. He's been out 10 games. And we thought Tyler Sharp would really benefit from it. And so far, Tyler has not had a field goal yet.
We were spot on. They're 0 for 9 combined and 0 for 5 from beyond the 3-point line. But I tell you what, if you're Darren Horn, you got to be happy with the fact that your team's down by 2, just shooting 2 of 14 from beyond the 3-point line and having your 2-star players throw up goose eggs from the field.
And so far, Northern Kentucky only down by 2, despite those 2 guys not scoring for them. But Jalen Tate, the 12 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 7 rebounds as well, has been their offensive key. On the flip side, for Green Bay, they've had a lot more balance. And Travion Bell with 8 points so far, along with Cody Schwartz, who's got 8 as well. So we'll see how the second half shakes out. Both of these teams are good 3-point shooting teams, just haven't seen it yet over the first 20 minutes. Josh McNair, who started the game, back in to start the second half, beating Amari Davis, who knocks down a lone 2. Amari Davis only had 4 first-half points. How important would it be to establish him if you're Green Bay?
Well, especially since he's coming off his worst weekend of the season so far, had just 12 points in those 2 games. So if they can get the super freshman on track, that's that extra score, that third score that Link Darner is always looking for.
Jaquan McLeod into the corner. There's Schwartz for 3. Hits again.
Now in double figures for his 4th consecutive game. He's got such great size as you go out to try and challenge at the 3-point line. Ball's well gone before you get there.
Dantez Walton played about 12 first-half minutes. Has it on the wing for 3. That one won't fall.
Yeah, and his 3s have looked good. Both of them looked like they were going in.
Jaquan McLeod now for 3. That one's way off.
Yeah,
comes out to Faulkner.
He just ran right into that one.
Trayvon on the drive. Bucket and a foul right on Schwartz.
That's been a problem at times. The Phoenix have not done a good job of containing dribble penetration. You got to guard the basketball. You got to lock in and try to keep your man from driving you into the paint. Faulkner's been able to get there. Tate's been able to get there, and Sharp has as well. So he's just running downhill as Faulkner, the lefty, able to finish through contact with his right hand.
That's where the Norse has had its greatest success in this game so far going downhill. Schwartz drives and kicks. Baseline jumper, Davis off target. McNair tried to rip that one out, but it goes off of Northern Kentucky out of bounds. Green Bay with 12 to shoot.
Now McNair, one of their better offensive rebounders, earning an extra possession with the effort.
Now a foul on Langdon. Third foul on Bryson Langdon, who's been an important part of this Norse team so far this season, especially with Walton out. He's been in the starting lineup for 10 games. Paul Joko checks back in. We saw him a little bit in the first half. We saw him a lot last year, but he's been a depth piece so far this year for NKU. And off the miss, a rebound, Tate, and here comes Faulkner trying to outrace the pack and draws the foul.
How about Jalen Tate, though, using his size, the 6'6" guard, not afraid to go rebound the basketball, mix it up inside. He can impact the game in so many ways. And when he rebounds it, he doesn't have to outlet it to anybody, except if he's got somebody running the floor.
Well, we talked about coming back in the second half, how all the things we thought would be the case for the Norse have not come true. Well, Jaquan McLeod has scored 61 points over the last 2 games. He's got 2 points tonight. One of the reasons for that is he's got 3 fouls, picked up 2 in the first 3 minutes of the game, and then gets whistled here. One out of 2 at the line. Now a whistle on the rebound attempt. Dantez Walton will get his 3rd personal.
So both teams' leading scorers saddled with 3 fouls.
3 points, 0 of 6 from the field for Dantez Walton. I'm sure there's a lot of things going through his mind coming back tonight, wanting to be a big-time impact player the way he was in the non-conference season. Also maybe a little rust as Davis puts that one in. But are you seeing that maybe from Dantez?
Well, yeah, anytime you're out for as long as he was, not surprising that you're going to see some rust. Remember, he's only practiced for a week as well. So conditioning, it's a lot different riding the bike than getting into game condition.
Now around the screen, Jalen Tate with a strong move.
Yeah, he strides. Those long strides as he gets into the lane, and then that size to be able to finish when he gets there.
14 for Jalen Tate tonight and 8 rebounds.
So we're seeing vintage Tate, not seeing vintage Sharp and Walton.
This time Jalen Tate picks up the foul. Josh McNair will go to the free throw line. McNair under 53% this season at the line. First attempt tonight.
But when you're a 53% shooter, sometimes you just have to wedge it in there.
Hung on the back of the rim for a second there.
That looked like Phil Mickelson with the lob wedge on that one.
Yeah. We know golf in Green Bay for a little while. There's too much snow on the ground out here. Both fall for McNair. PJ Pipes will come into the game as McNair goes out. See, the Norse just 2 out of 16 tonight at the three-point line.
Walton gave that one up. He had the driving lane, could have finished at the rim. Instead, forces a long 3.
Now 2 out of 17.
Even though it's such a big part of what you do, at some point in time, if they're not falling, maybe got to shy away from a couple of 3s.
Here's Hankerson. I was going to ask you about that because this is now 2 games in a row And this is one of the MOs for this team. Langdon has that one swatted away inside. Shooters eventually will come out of it, but at what point do you just bail on it? Now down the floor, here comes Tate. Lays it in.
Well, you don't have to get threes if you play downhill. Jalen Tate's been playing downhill all game.
Joko knocks that one out of bounds, and it brings us to a timeout on the floor. Green Bay up 4, trying to sweep Northern Kentucky in the regular season series.
By far the best part of the trip is just the time that you spend together away from the court and just hanging out in the islands. We had an unbelievable day on Friday where we went out on a boat and snorkeled, and we really had a great time off the court. And I think the experiences that you take from that and the bonding as a team and a program that comes from those times is really what's most valuable.
Well, we thought here in snowy Green Bay, we'd show you some pictures of guys in the warmth to warm you up, perhaps. But Darren Horn, in his first season with NKU, and anytime you take a trip like this, obviously it helps the guys get to know each other, but it helped him get to know his team.
Well, that's so important, especially when you're coming in as a first-year coach and you have a veteran team, and they've got that in seniors in Sharp and Walton. So you want to make sure that the guys get to know you in a different way. As he said, even more important than being on the floor was being able to bond as a team, and for those guys to get to know Darren Horn a little bit away from the court as well.
Yeah, they went to the U.S. Virgin Islands, stayed in St. Thomas. They were there in August for 5 days. They played some basketball. While they were down there, they went on a couple excursions. They went on a tropical treasure hunt. And so, you know, they got to do a lot of team bonding down there.
Absolutely. The other thing is you forget as well, sometimes people do, practice before you go down there. And so those extra practices that you get under NCAA rules, especially when you're putting in new offensive system and especially new defensive system for Northern Kentucky.
Now Bryson Langdon for NKU. As the Norse try to get something going offensively here. Faulkner in on Davis. Strong move.
Yeah, that's just bully ball right there, taking the freshman to school in the post.
Trayvon Faulkner now with 10 points and starting to get his offensive game going. Jaquan McLeod, the kick to the corner. PJ Pipes had that one affected on the way in. Loose on the floor. A tie-up. And possession arrow would send it the other way. But how about Trayvon Faulkner? 10 points tonight and just willing his way to the basket.
Well, he's got great upper body and lower body strength. And look at him get low right here. Back in the freshman, right into the lane. Spins once he gets him on his back. And then the finish with the right hand. Remember, he's a natural lefty. But you got to be able to score with either hand.
2018 Kentucky Mr. Basketball player was Trayvon Faulkner, big-time recruit for this Norse program. 3-time All-State player at Mercer County. And he's averaged just under 15 points per game in Horizon League play so far this season. Then had the 3-point game last time against Wright State. So getting his game back into the flow as he's got 10 points tonight. Also 5 rebounds. Faulkner going to work again in the post. Now Langdon on the drive. Faulkner in there again. Has that one knocked away. 3 seconds to shoot. Langdon for 3. No. And a shot clock violation. Saying they never got the rim. And a turnover to Green Bay.
Yeah, solid defense. Northern Kentucky was able to get into the paint 3 different times on dribble penetration on that possession, but Green Bay stayed down. They didn't go for ball fakes. Force a tough shot with the shot clock winding down.
Amari Davis. Now Hankerson for Green Bay. Davis will pull up from the free throw line and knocks it down. Amari Davis now 10 points tonight.
That's great athleticism because he stopped on a dime and then he had to change his shot in midair. Had to bring the basketball back in to be able to load it up for the shot attempt.
PJ Pipes will be whistled for that foul. Second on Pipes. Amari Davis, the freshman out of Trotwood, Ohio, 6th Horizon League player ever to win 6 Horizon League Freshman of the Week honors. The other guys, Antoine Davis, Detroit Mercy last year. Dikembe Dixon, who did it for UIC a couple years back. Loudon Love when he was a freshman at Wright State. Kay Felder and Jalen Hayes when they were freshmen at Oakland. So you're talking about some pretty outstanding company.
Yeah, that's Horizon League royalty. And he's been a terrific spark for them in his freshman season. They expected a lot. They knew he could score the basketball. Averaged over 30 points per game as a high school senior. Was highly recruited. A number of schools in the MAC. DePaul recruited him. So it was a big get for Link Darner and his staff.
On the other end, we just saw Tyler Sharp get his first basket of the game. 2 points, 1 of 5 from the field. And now Dantez Walton underneath, and that's a nice move.
Yeah, if you allow him to post that deep in the lane, you're in trouble. Again, using the spin, much like you use a block out to try and keep a defender off the backboard.
Manny Patterson can't hit from the elbow. Walton in the corner for 3, and the rebound Davis.
And those were shots he was hitting throughout the preseason.
PJ Pipes step back jumper, no. Out of bounds, it'll stay with the Phoenix. Now, one thing to think about in this game, Rob, we're tied at 45. Tyler Sharp, who is second on this team in scoring 16 and a half a game, he's got 2 points. Dantez Walton, yes, he's back, but he's got 5 points and he's 1 for 9 from the field. And they've maintained the ability to stay in this game and be tied.
Yeah, because Tate has single-handedly kept them in the game, and now Faulkner starting to contribute as well. And that's the thing about Northern Kentucky. When they get fully healthy, when they've got those 4 guys are terrific scorers, and then you get anything out of Langdon or anything out of your bigs and Nelson or as well Adeki, and that is a tough team to guard.
Here's Davis on the move, can't finish in traffic, comes out to Nelson, and here comes Langdon running. Sharp on the move, no. Rebounded by Nelson and puts it back. Adrian Nelson's first bucket of the game, and now the Norse has the lead with 11:45 to go here in Green Bay. The Phoenix won for their last 8 from the field, and the Norse on a 6-0 run.
Well, Jordan, you asked if you're not making threes, what do you do to counter? Well, punch the basketball inside. After not being able to convert from the perimeter, all of a sudden, last couple of minutes, Northern Kentucky making a concerted effort to go score it in the paint, whether it's on dribble drive, post-ups, or that time, as we saw, on an offensive board.
And tonight it's been Bryson Langdon and Jalen Tate who have really been the 2 guys to carry this Northern Kentucky team. They've combined for 28 points in this game, and they've hit 10 of 17 field goals combined. And that's, of course, with Dantez Walton back with 5 points tonight and Tyler Sharp with just 2. And their first lead now for Northern Kentucky since the 13:27 mark in the first half. Amari Davis couldn't get that one to fall, but fouled on the way in. And it brings us to a timeout on the floor, but the Norse ahead for the first time in a while. Back here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, home of the Packers and home of the Phoenix. And right now they trail by 2 points against Northern Kentucky. The first time that NKU has led since middle of the first half. And one of the big reasons is Jalen Tate and Bryson Langdon. The pair have scored 28 points to make up for the lack of production from Dantez Walton and Tyler Sharp.
And then you throw double figures as well from Faulkner, and that's how they've been able to stay in the ball game and now climb back into the lead.
You said it earlier that once this Northern Kentucky team gets healthy and can get all these guys playing together, you just feel like the Norse will be primed to make a run.
Well, anytime you've got multiple scorers, right? When you can put versatile offensive players out on the floor and you cannot have to just key on one or two guys, makes it so hard to guard.
Mari Davis knocks down a pair of free throws. He's got 12 tonight. Back in double figures after he was held out the last couple of games.
And the Phoenix have that kind of scoring distribution as well. Nice balance throughout their roster. One of the reasons why they're in the top 10 in the country in scoring at over 81 a game.
Here's Walton for three. No again. Dantez continues to struggle from the field. 1 out of 10 in his return game tonight. Davis turnaround from the baseline. Good.
Oh, that is a really good looking shot along the baseline.
Mari Davis, the 4th highest point total by a Green Bay freshman. It's now 32 points from the top 5 in total points by a freshman, the most ever. A guy named Tony Bennett.
Pretty good player, pretty good coach.
Yeah, I'd say so. Jaquan McLeod out of the corner. Davis, long jumper off target and knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Green Bay.
That's the 11th offensive rebound for Green Bay. A bunch of them coming here in the second half.
Travion Bell misses the jumper. Out of bounds. This time it'll go back to NKU.
Nearly another offensive rebound. That's one of the key stats all season long for Northern Kentucky. When they out-rebound their opponents, they're a perfect 9-0. But at times they've gotten beat up on the backboards, especially when Walton went out with the injury.
Tate in the post against the double. Now Tate gets into the paint, puts it up, no. And McLeod comes out with a rebound.
Now did everything but finish. Get that deep, throw it up on the backboard.
Davis, baseline jumper. Off target, foul called underneath. They're going to get Jalen Tate. That's going to be number 3 on the redshirt junior. 7 fouls now against the Norse. Green Bay is a pretty good free throw shooting team. 75% on the season.
Yeah, they're a good shooting team, period. They've got guys that can shoot the basketball.
7 out of 8 so far tonight.
Yeah, shoot it well from the foul line, shoot it well from the floor, shoot it well from beyond the three-point line.
In the first half, we saw Link Darner's team get into the bonus early, but Northern Kentucky, not the greatest free throw shooting team, didn't hurt them very much. Like, you don't want to have to trade free throws with Green Bay. And now Green Bay back up by 4. And a travel on Bryson Langdon.
Now, right idea, he just got sped up. to get dribble penetration into the lane, you just got to keep your lower body, keep your feet on the floor. He's got ahead of himself.
Bell, baseline jumper falls.
Well, they've responded since the timeout by Link Darner. 8-0 run after Northern Kentucky took their first lead of the second half.
Pipes guarding Sharp. Almost got that one to fall. But a foul against P.J. Pipes. Third foul against Pipes. Well, Saturday night, 3 top 20 teams are part of the great college basketball doubleheader on ESPN. 6 Eastern, number 13 Kentucky takes on Bruce Pearl, 17th ranked Auburn Tigers in a sonic blockbuster. Then at 8 Eastern, 9th ranked Duke squares off against Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. Both games are also on the ESPN app. Those are some awesome games.
Yeah, game day crew down at Auburn. Bruce Pearl got the Tigers playing well again after that historic Final Four run last year.
The win against Ole Miss a few nights ago as well. Duke Syracuse should have an enormous crowd at the Carrier Dome. Here's Dantez Walton from the wing. Hits a 3.
Now finally able to get plenty of time on that pick and pop. We've said is the balls look good coming out of his hands, just hasn't gone in. That time it drops.
Second field goal to fall for Dantez Walton. Schwartz has that one roll in and out. Tate's open, doesn't want to take the 3.
Oh, that's smart. Don't force it. That's not his game.
Langdon, that is his game. Hits the 3, and Northern Kentucky back in business. Up 2.
And that's why you don't force it if you're Tate. Just a smart play in the open floor.
Pipes. No. Bell, second chance, no. Wanted a foul, didn't get it. Walton again for 3. It's good. Dantez Walton buries a triple. And finally, Northern Kentucky is hitting from deep, and they've got a 5-point lead.
Well, they struggled all game long. Finally, the lid's off the basket from beyond the 3-point line. After going inside, now what do? You come outside. 3 straight threes. Couple of looks from Dantez Walton included in a good ball movement. And all of a sudden, Northern Kentucky stretches it out to the 5-point lead.
Five-point lead for Northern Kentucky over Green Bay with 7:18 to go here in the second half of play. Northern Kentucky finally able to get something going from long distance. They're now just 5 of 22 from 3, but Dantez Walton's hit a couple. Bryson Langdon has hit one, and they're on an 11-0 run since the 8:43 mark, and all of a sudden have a 5-point lead on the road.
And we've been talking about Northern's struggles early in the game from 3. How about Green Bay? They're struggling as well, just 4 of 19 from beyond the arc, from a terrific 3-point shooting team. They lead the Horizon at 38%, and that's top 25 in the country.
Hankerson off to Davis. The baseline jumper misses, and now Hankerson will get called for the foul, reaching over Tate for the rebound.
Remember, about 5 minutes ago, it seemed like Green Bay was just getting after it on the offensive glass. Since then, Northern Kentucky's been able to clean it up. It's been one shot and done for the Phoenix the last couple of minutes. You
said it before, Rob. It's almost like there was a lid on the basket for NKU, but despite that, they've stayed in the game the whole way, and now they've got the lead and can add to it as Bell fouls Nelson on the way in.
And if you've got fouls to give them up against Nelson. Shoots at 77% from the field and just 38% from the foul line. So hack a shot. Send them to the line.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
You get a good look at the foul shot.
What do you think?
He's got a little bit of a hitch. You know, so many times big guys are stiff. See him leaning back. You want all your motion and energy going towards the rim, especially from the line.
Looked like that ball knuckled a little bit on the way in, too.
Yeah,
that one went down. How about that?
Had a little bit more rotation, but you're right.
It's like a Tim Wakefield shot.
That works in baseball, not in basketball.
So you're saying you would not teach guys to knuckle the ball towards the basket?
Want a little rotation on that.
Now a substitution here for Green Bay. Davis to inbound. Just under 6.5 minutes left. And miscommunication. Bell throws it away.
Unforced error. It's amazing. Northern Kentucky makes a couple of threes. Guess what? Their defense gets a little bit more aggressive. It's amazing how when you start making shots, it translates to the other side of the floor sometimes as well.
Langdon, a three from the wing. It's good. Bryson Langdon hits another triple. And now Northern Kentucky with its largest lead. They're up 9 as a blocking foul is called.
Well, obviously they're making threes, but the guy who's getting threes for people is Jalen Tate. Good penetration, forces 2 to guard 1. And then Langdon, who is struggling mightily over the last 5 games coming in at just 3 of 23. He's gotten hot because he's gotten some good looks here in the second half.
Transfer from Arizona Western, 7th in the Horizon League in assists per game in Horizon League games, but showing what he can do offensively tonight.
And Jordan, it's interesting too. Now remember, he's been starting the last 18 games. He gets taken out of the starting lineup. As a coach, you always want to see how's the guy going to react. You're going to sit around, you're going to mope, say, why am I not starting? Bryson Langdon hasn't done that. He's played extremely well here tonight. And that's a really good sign of maturity.
And a sign of the depth that Northern Kentucky will have now that they've got their full complement of players on the floor. Dantez Walton, no. And it's tipped out, and Faulkner fouls McLeod. That's number 4 on Trayvon Faulkner.
Number 12, Trayvon Faulkner.
Just a little late getting there.
Faulkner 10 points and 6 rebounds in this one, but he's going to have to go to the bench. Jaquan McLeod will go to the line. He's got 2 points tonight. 1 of 8 from the field after putting up 61 over the previous 2 games. Splits the defense off the miss and lays it in. Why get 1 when you can get 2?
You expect him. He's an 89% foul shooter. You figure that's money when he goes to the line. But good effort. Let's see if that gets his offensive game jump started.
Sharp tries to feed baseline to Langdon, knocked out of bounds. What'd you think of that?
I forced it a little bit, because what's Langdon going to do if he catches it on a deep run there? It's not as if he's wide open on that backdoor cut. And sure enough, McLeod gets the layup, and all of a sudden he's playing at full speed. He just ran right into that foul line jumper.
Jaquan now with 6 points, and all of a sudden Green Bay back within 5, and McLeod starting to get hot at 2 points here early. So, okay, Green Bay within 5. They had led a lot of this game. Northern Kentucky got hot from 3, took a 9-point lead. They cut it back to 5. What is Link Darner's message to his team right now?
Oh, you got to start getting some stops at the other end. Northern Kentucky's gotten on a roll from beyond the 3 because they've gotten too many open 3s.
And if you're Darren Horn on the other side for Northern Kentucky, you haven't led a lot of this game. But now you've got a 5-point lead, and you've got a team that's feeling a little more confident, starting to hit some shots. What do you think he's telling his guys?
Well, they had an opportunity once they got up by 9. They had a shot at the rim. They miss it. They come up with a foul. 4th foul on Faulkner forces him out. You get a miss on a foul shot. Guess what? You didn't clean that possession up. You gave them another opportunity. So I think he's saying to his guys, hey, look, we got to play every possession right now and not give them opportunities like they have the last couple of minutes to get easy buckets.
Nelson will inbound for NKU. See the first half, NKU's 3-point struggles again. In the second half, it's been a very different story. 5 out of 9. One of the reasons for the Norse lead, and now against pressure, Norse able to get it in. Langdon stops and kicks. Sharp a long 3. No. Dantes Walton the rebound, and then he's fouled by Davis on the floor.
Well, that's the way to pursue the basketball off the offensive board.
Third
against Amari Davis. And now Dantes Walton back to the line. 3 of 4 tonight. Even though he is not typically a great foul shooter, and it's the first.
And it's surprising. He's got good form, nice rotation on the basketball. And as I said, he shoots it at 42% from beyond the 3-point line. So that's not mechanical. That's got to be mental.
Dantes now 13 points in his return to the lineup. McLeod underneath Hankerson, lost the handle out of bounds, but it's off of NKU.
McLeod starting to make things happen, though. Running downhill, getting into the lane to collapse that zone.
Offensive foul against Jaquan McLeod. Mike Darner does not like it.
Yeah, but I think that's a terrific call because Sharp beat McLeod to the spot, an imperfect defensive position, and then the wing. See, the off arm by McLeod as well. Yeah, if that's not a charge, there isn't one.
And McLeod now with 4 personal fouls, so this is a big foul against the Phoenix right as he was starting to get hot, but stays on the floor. Tate goes in against him, can't get it to fall, and it comes out to Davis.
And I like keeping him in the ball game. He's starting to play well. You're down by 7, you got to make things happen.
Davis can't get the layup to go. Second chance, no. Wanted a foul, won't get it. Seven-point lead for Northern Kentucky, trying to pick up their 7th win of the season on the road. Tate going downhill. Beat Sharp. Lost the handle on the way in, and it gets to Hankerson. Bell. Travel.
Big missed opportunity right there by Green Bay. You're down by 7. You got to be able to convert.
7-point game. The Norse trying to keep pace with Wright State, who won earlier tonight. Here are the Horizon League standings updated with tonight's games. Wright State 9-1. They're obviously in first. If Northern Kentucky wins this game, you've got a 2-game advantage on everybody else that's all in the middle of the pack here. And Northern Kentucky would now have a win over Green Bay, so the two would split. So you'd be looking at other things. And to be in one of the top 2 seeds is huge this year, because with the format changed in the Horizon League tournament, a double bye is awarded to those top 2 seeds. So you're talking about having to win a lot fewer games if you get one of those top 2 seeds.
Yeah, you got to win 2 games in 2 days as opposed to having to win 4 games spread out now, not over 4 days like it used to be. but a big advantage on the other side. If Green Bay is able to come back and win this, they're tied for second and then hold the tiebreaker over Northern Kentucky, having swept the series. So a lot on the line here for both teams.
Hankerson picks up the foul. Now 3:25 to go. You want to be one of those top 2 seeds, but what we have seen, Rob, of course, over the last few years is when they get to the Horizon League tournament, it's almost like you put all the names in the hat and just flip them up in the air, because we've seen 10 seeds reach the final and 9 seeds reach the finals. You just never know. But obviously you'd rather have to win fewer games.
You ask any coach, you want to be able to advance? Yeah, advance me on as far as you want.
Yeah.
And until you get to that point, and then you're sitting there and the other team's won 2 games in the tournament, and then as a coach you're saying, oh my goodness gracious, we've been sitting around having playing. They've won 2 games. But the bottom line is you're in the semifinals if you finish in first or second.
Retry for McLeod. That's off target. Rebound to Dantes Walton. And we talked about the shooting struggles, but Dantes Walton now at 15 points and 8 rebounds in his return.
Yeah, and so first half he struggled. Second half he came to life.
Now 9 rebounds, in fact, after that last one. Almost a double-double.
And Green Bay now just 4 of 20 from 3.
There's a 3 try that falls again for Bryson Langdon.
Well, that shooting slump is no more. Not just for the Norse, but as well for Langdon.
21 points, ties his career high, and all off the bench tonight. And another turnover by the Phoenix.
And you see right now, the life has been sucked out of Green Bay. And it's been sucked out because Northern Kentucky started to find the mark from beyond the 3-point line.
Green Bay has led a lot of this game, but now the Norse with their largest lead of the game, 12, and now an offensive foul on Amari Davis.
Well, a couple of frustration plays from Green Bay.
7-0 run for the Norse over the last 2:32.
But here's how you play inside out, right? You collapse. We said, what would Walton's presence do? You see what it does right there. It forces 3 white jerseys in, so when you get the closeout to the shooter, you get there late.
Here's Tate on the move. No. Green Bay's got to hurry now. McLeod for 3. Yes. And a timeout taken by the Phoenix.
Well, down by 12, you're forced to make things happen. They put that up as a 3. I think the official's going to go take a look at and make sure and confirm that indeed his foot was behind the line.
As of now, be a 9-point game unless they change it. But Green Bay could have used a couple more of those. I think it's a 2.
Yep.
Jaquan McLeod have 8 points if they call it a 2. It looks like the foot was on the line there. Yep.
Yep. Good easy look on that one. Oh, smart play to rush it up the floor. You got to score quickly, but they got to try to make something happen right here off of the pressure defense.
So a 10-point lead for Northern Kentucky. As you take a look at our game summary, Green Bay had the lead at halftime. Neither team shot the ball well in the first half. In the second half, Northern Kentucky started to find its way from the 3-point line, and Dantes Walton, after struggling in the first 20 minutes, looked a lot more like the Dantes Walton that we have come to know in the second half. And now Jalen Tate called for the travel.
Take your pick. Offensive foul or travel, doesn't matter. That's the last thing you want to do if you're Northern Kentucky, is turn it over.
So Green Bay, we know they can score quickly. This is the highest scoring team per game in the Horizon League and 8th in the country. And McLeod hoists in a 3.
He is certainly heated up here.
Now it's a 7-point game.
I'd give it on Walton, even though he has shot well from the foul line.
Green Bay trying to get a stop.
Well, now you got to play the possession all the way through. You don't give up the foul early in the possession. You can't give it up late.
Sharp a long three. No. Rebounded by Tate underneath. He's wide open. And they run it out, and now you have to foul if you're Green Bay. They still have not.
And Tate, he's the guy you got to foul, and they don't.
Now with 6 on the clock, the whistle blows. Hankerson will be called for the foul. What did you think there?
Well, on the first possession, they didn't give up the foul. All right, then go ahead and finish it off. Instead, they give up the offensive rebound. But as soon as Tate got the offensive rebound, you got to give up the immediate foul.
18 more seconds came off the clock. And now 33 and a half to go. A 7-point game. Tate at the free throw line. Not a great free throw shooter. But tonight he's 2 out of 3. Double-double for Tate. Hits the first. 17 and 11 in this one. And he's really, from start to finish, been very consistent for the Norse. Huge game for him.
Absolutely. And in this second half, those are his first points this second half. But guess what? He's impacted the game in other ways. His defense, his rebounding.
And Walton gets the big rebound there, and now the Norse just trying to ice it with some free throws. Well, tonight after Blazers-Lakers on ESPN, stick around for SportsCenter from LA with Stan and Neil. They'll have LeBron's postgame comments on this emotional night, plus reactions from Stephen A., Paul Pierce, and many others, and the latest on the Chiefs and 49ers tonight after Blazers-Lakers on ESPN and the ESPN app. Bell had to foul there. Langdon misses the free throw. 8-point lead for Northern Kentucky on the road. The Phoenix just 6-4 at home so far this season. Northern Kentucky trying to earn its 7th road victory. And Bryson Langdon now with a new career high in 22 points. And he was tremendous.
Yeah, and as you said, early in the game it was quiet. It was loud here in the second half, hitting those threes.
Shot clock is off. Bell, long three, no. Rebounded Tate. And Green Bay will relax it. The Northern Kentucky Norse going to pick up a hard-fought victory. Dantez Walton returns, and the Norse pick up a victory on the road, 71-62, and NKU moves to 15-7.
And more importantly, Northern Kentucky now with a 2-game lead in second place. Always so important to finish in the top 2 with that double bye in the Horizon League tournament.
And Darren Horn's team now in second place, and they've got the tiebreaker and a 2-game advantage. As you see, Wright State 9-1, NKU 7-3, and a 2-game lead on almost the rest of the conference. When you look at Green Bay, Milwaukee, Youngstown, UIC, Cleveland State, all there at 5-5. And then Detroit Mercy took a loss tonight against Oakland with IUPUI at the bottom. So the Norse, they're healthy. It looks like they're coming back. And we'll see. This should be a very interesting race as we move towards the end of the regular season. But our final score tonight, Northern Kentucky 71, Green Bay 62. For Rob Kennedy and our entire crew, I'm Jordan Burnfield. Up next, Gym Rats, Florida Gators basketball. Thanks so much for watching another Horizon League Friday in Green Bay, where the Norse pick up the win.